The seance, or spirit session to communicate with them, had been here long before it became a great thing for entertainment during the 19th century. Since prehistoric times, witches, or witch doctors, have claimed to communicate with other deities, claiming to be receiving messages from the underworld. This is what we know as psychic sensitivity, or clairvoyance. But are there really facts of people actually attuning with the presence of the dead? Facts require proof, some kind of evidence, right? As Arthur Conan Doyle wrote the next line for his character, Sherlock Holmes, in A Suit in Scarlet, if you were asked to prove that 2 and 2 made 4, you might find some difficulty, and yet you are quite sure of the fact. It is a capital mistake to theorize before you have all the evidence. It biases the judgment. Still, this celebrated author of a very pragmatic character was drawn to look for answers in the spirit world. Some biographers have said that it was because he found it difficult to cope with his son's death. It all spiraled when Lily, a young woman Doyle and his wife had been nursing, woke up one morning announcing in agitation that something terrible would happen. A disaster for lots of lives. A spirit message of warning. That same day, Conan Doyle heard of the news of the transatlantic Lusitania, sunk by a German submarine. More than 900 deaths. Then, Lily gave him a message from his dead brother-in-law, a note that seemed to have the same tone and handwriting as the deceased. Well, it was imminent that the next step for him was to join the Society of Physical Research, and he attended several of their meetings and seances. At death, however, and under certain conditions in the course of life, the two can divide and be seen separately. That is a quote by Arthur Conan Doyle in his book The Vital Message. So he was a great believer in these mediums, as so many others. If you think he was fooled or not, he wasn't alone in that sentiment. Just after the Great War, a young Brazilian medium named Mirabelli attracted people looking to communicate with their dead. In 1918, he began in broad daylight with his sessions. In one, it is said that the spirit of a little girl took full form in front of the attendees. One man, Dr. Souza, declared in complete panic that the spirit was in fact her daughter, who had died of influenza. He even communicated with the spirit, saying that it, or her, spoke of matters only his dead daughter would know. There is even this photo when, it is said, that in another of her seances, the dead poet Giuseppe Parini materialized. Fake or not, a seance was, or is, an answer to people who want to believe that their loved ones who passed are still somewhere to be found. The sad part is sometimes those hurt people could become easy to prey on. People will take advantage of their heartbroken state in order to earn some easy money. There are examples of spirit sessions that turn to be a scam, such as the most famous case of the Fox sisters from New York, who through their ability of snapping their toes and using their knees and ankles to make noise, fooling people into believing there were real spirits trying to communicate. Even Harry Houdini, the great illusionist, after attending a session, he began to notice the mockery and deceptions fake mediums inflicted on their crowd. That made him start a personal crusade to end that fraud. So now up to the book recommendation for this fall, The Seance by John Howard, where we find a family heartbroken by the recent death, the death of the sister of our main character, Constance Langton, who happens to have some kind of psychic ability. Constant and dreadful visions follow her. She inherits a large estate, Isn't that the perfect way to start a gothic book? The book has 3 different points of views, just a warning in case that's not your cup of tea. Besides Constance, we have John Montague, her lawyer, and the most chilling story is the one of Eleanor Unwin. If you're fond of Victorian novels, this may interest you a lot, mostly so because it also depicts the hard and ghastly lives of Victorian women, and in this case, Victorian women having some kind of psychic abilities, hence the title of the book. Was clairvoyance a ticket to the asylum? Is it really that insane to think that there could be so much more than our own realm? That's a question fit for this season. Thank you so much for supporting this video, and see you in the next one.